Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you what I've been calling the Nether Faucet. So this is a crazy hostile mob farm that's using some portal mechanics and some weird stuff. You can see we're above the roof of the Nether here with our second player. So this farm is temporarily working, but it's not going to pretty soon because the devs have talked about on Twitter and stuff that they're going to remove the ability to go above the Nether on console edition to save on space, but that's a topic for another video. But long story short is this farm isn't going to work for very much longer, so I figured I would show you it because it's not quite done yet, but it's using some really cool mechanics, so I had to show you guys this before it was patched. So anyway, we're down here in the drop shaft, and you can see a bunch of guys are spawning up there, and I'll show you it in a second, don't you worry. But before I do, I bet you're really curious as to how this works. Oh my gosh, you saw there, we just got a giant squirt out of guys. That's why I've been calling it the Nether Faucet. Anyway, yeah, before I start, I just gotta explain, give a bunch of credit to a really good YouTuber that I just can't recommend you guys go check out his channel enough. His name is Ray's Works, and he plays on the PC edition, and he does just some of the craziest technical stuff that I've ever seen in the game, and he's a huge inspiration for me and my channel, and that's where I got the idea for this. So anyway, this farm was built off of his hostile Nether unloading something. I forgot exactly the name, but go check it out. It's really awesome. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's the unloader, the Nether unloader, something like that. The mini unloader, that's the one. So anyway, go check him out like I keep saying. I guarantee you that you'll find his channel awesome and interesting if you like what you see here. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you how to build this. Okay, well, one of the only problems is that size magma cube doesn't die automatically, but other than that, this farm will work automatically AFK. You can just sit there for as long as you want, and it'll just continue to pile up guys and kill all the gas and everything. So there's something a little bit weird when guys come through the portal. The pigmen spawn inside of each other, and the hitbox doesn't come into effect. Whoa! Sometimes, and that's where the gas help out. The gas will teleport, and then that hitbox will help move all these guys around, and it'll start a chain reaction, and they'll all fall off the platform. So it's a little weird, but yeah, you can see it there, how they're all combining together, and then it's going to take an outside influence to make them move, and then once they do, it'll explode in a giant faucet of pigmen. So that's what's so cool about this farm. That's why I've been calling it the Nether Faucet. Anyway, let's see if that gas is what's able to push them all off the block. So it's a little bit weird. There you go. Aha! And you can see the TPS literally freezes for a couple seconds. The game is having a really hard time processing everything that's going on because of all of the Nether portal business. So I'm going to show you what's going on the other side. You know, this looks pretty simple, and trust me that it really is pretty simple. So let's pop over into there. I'm going to disconnect my second controller so you can see a little better, and I'll show you exactly what it is that's going on here. Get out of the tube. You're not supposed to be there. Get out of here. Come on. Okay, so this is our first player, our normal player, and this is our AFK guy who's up here on the roof of the Nether. So if you weren't aware, you can build up here in the current version. There's just some really weird stuff going on. So you can see I'm standing on the roof right here on this invisible barrier. You could easily get through this by just ender pearling if you didn't know. It's a little bit weird. No, can you not do that? There we go. So the TPS is actually frozen right now, basically, because of all the lag right now because of this farm. I'll show you that in a second, but I just wanted to let you know you can't place blocks. You just can't break blocks. So if you really wanted to, you could build this in survival. You just can't mess up. You could build a ladder up there to unload everything below the roof. So that's what we were doing. We were up there really high to unload everything except what we got going on right below the roof. So let's go over there, and I'll show you what we got and how this all works. So we go through once. Man, look at this crazy lag. This farm is just a little bit too OP for the game to handle right now. That's another reason why I don't recommend building this, is because the game literally freezes every time you use it. Okay, so here we go. Here's what's in the Nether. Let's get a look at this. All right, so 4 tall portals. We got 5 of them stacked together, two sides, and this is 3 deep. So it doesn't look like it, obviously, because these 2 are not lit, but check this out. There's some items in here. They're going to teleport like so, and that's because they are actually portals. Let's go around the back, and you can see that there's some really weird visual error going on here, but trust me, all 3 of these pieces of obsidian are all housing the full-size 20 wide portals, or 21 wide portals. So anyway, And that's just to allow the gas to spawn in here. If it was shorter, they wouldn't. So yeah, that's how it works. Essentially, this is the only thing that's going on. And obviously, I'm in a super flat world to make this the best possible spawn conditions. But theoretically, this is possible in survival. But, you know, obviously, you probably wouldn't want to build this for pretty obvious reasons. So that's essentially it, guys. It's pretty simple. It just takes a little bit of time to build the portals over here in the Nether. But pretty much all that happens is guys spawn inside the frame, and then they instantly teleport over into the overworld. So they don't take up the mob cap, and it basically leads to that insane lag that you were seeing in the overworld. So here's some guys, and trust me, this is happening a lot quicker in real time. The reason why it looks a little slow is because, like I said, the TPS is just lagging behind so hard because of the way that this portal affects the game. So anyway, let's go up to the roof. You can still do so with ender pearls in survival. There's a bunch of other ways to do it still. So once again, you could technically do this in survival, but I wouldn't recommend it. So we're over here at 129, and there is about maybe 50 blocks below there. So we're not going to want to go past 200, 250, something like that. So I've been AFKing around 200. It seems to work out fine. And that unloads the rest of the nether mobs. So the only spawn spaces that are available in the game right now are those obsidian blocks in the portal frame. So that's when you hook up your second controller. Let's see where this guy's hanging out. Oh, right in the farm. Okay, one way you can really mess yourself up if you're building something like this is you see all these guys that are spread around just randomly and evenly and stuff. So without going into too much detail about how this works, because this could be a whole video in itself, but essentially the size of those portals in the Nether that you saw are a certain amount of blocks wide. Well, if we know from portal linking together, if you know how to do that, the overworld is 8 times bigger than the Nether, and so those portal frames, respectively in the overworld, would be way, way, way larger. So to scale those Nether portals in the Nether that were 21 wide, and then there's 2 of them, so they're like 42 blocks wide, well, 8 times 42 wide is humongous, and so they would go all the way out to over here, you know, relatively, if they were built in the overworld with those 8 times modifiers going on. So if there's nobody in the overworld, just bear with me, okay? This is complicated, but if there's nobody over here in the overworld, and guys are going through those portals because we've got our guy up here in the over the Nether. If guys up there and there's nobody in the overworld, they're just gonna spawn, you know, relatively to that portal. It's gonna be like this portal over here doesn't exist. They're gonna spawn all in this giant area, and that's because of the size of those portal frames. So the way you avoid that is you make sure there's a guy here in the overworld loading this portal before any guys go through it. That way you make sure that they come out through the portal and not out into the overworld randomly around the area. Man, that was kind of a mouthful. So I hope you're following what's going on. I know this is pretty complicated. It's using some really weird mechanics, and I know the lag is also a little bit confusing to see what's going on when it just freezes all of a sudden randomly. But when it does work, you know, when it's working, it works pretty dang well. I think one of the only problems that I've run into here is these medium magma cubes don't like to be killed all the time. Sometimes they'll die, but like a lot of the time they'll be stuck. And it'll take like a ghast or something to push them out of there. So in case you missed it, I just wanted to mention one more time, don't build this in survival, guys. It's going to be a giant waste of time. You're going to be bumming if you do, because it's going to be a giant lag device in your world. It's not going to work how you want it to, and in a couple weeks or a month or 2 or whatever, when they update the game, it's not going to work anymore. So I just had to show you the concept, show you that this kind of thing is possible. And it's really, really crazy. So if you're playing on the PC, have at it. But if you're on the console, I'd recommend building a different type of farm. So anyway, original credit once again to RaiseWorks for the mini unloader farm that he posted recently. You guys got to go check out his channel. If you're liking what I'm doing, you're going to love what he's doing, I promise. But anyway, I think that's going to have to do it for me for today. Let me know if you got any questions. I know this is a pretty complicated subject. And it's just really, really interesting, and I've never really seen anything else like it. So yeah, once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe for more stuff and things, and I think I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.